To describe points quantitatively, we need to have a coordinate system. Constructing a coordinate system begins with choosing a point of space to be the origin. Yeah. Sometimes the origin is chosen to make the equations especially simple. For example, the theory of the solar system would look more complicated if we put the origin anywhere but at the sun. Strictly speaking, the location of the origin is arbitrary, put it anywhere, but once it is chosen, stick with the choice. The next step is to choose 3 perpendicular axes. Again, the location is somewhat arbitrary as long as they are perpendicular. The axes are usually called X, Y, and Z, but we can also call them X1, X2, X3. Such a system of axes is called a Cartesian coordinate system, like this. This is a 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. We want to describe a certain point in space, call it P. It can be located by giving XYZ coordinate of the point. In other words, we identify the point P with the ordered triple of number XYZ. So let's say the point P is over here. The x-coordinate represents the perpendicular distance of P from the plane defined by setting x equals 0. So like this. Plane where x equals 0. This is the distance. Yeah. The same is true for the y and z coordinates. Because the coordinates represent distance, they are measured in units of length, such as meters. When we study motion, we also need to keep track of time. Again, we start with an origin, that is the 0 of time. We could pick the Big Bang to be the origin, or the birth of Jesus, or just the start of an experiment. But once we pick it, we don't change it. Next, we need to fix a direction of time. The usual convention is that positive times are to the future of the origin and negative times are to the past. We could do it the other way, but we won't. Finally, we need units for time. Seconds are the physicists' customary units, but hours, nanoseconds, or years are also possible. Once having picked the units and the origin, we can label any time by a number t. There are 2 implicit assumptions about time in classical mechanics. The first is that time runs uniformly. An interval of 1 second has exactly the same meaning at one time as at another. Time runs For example, it took the same number of seconds for a weight to fall from the Tower of Pisa in Galileo's time as it takes in our time. 1 second meant the same thing then as it does now. The other assumption is that times can be compared at different locations. This means that clocks located in different places can be synchronized. Given this assumption, the 4 coordinates like x, y, z, and t define a reference frame. Any event in the reference frame must be assigned a value for each of the coordinates. Given the function ft equals t square. We can plot the points on a coordinate system. We will use one axis for time, t, and another for the function ft, such as this one. We can also connect the dot with curves to fill in the space between points. In this way, we can visualize the function.